a way of life. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. Hope everybody's staying safe, healthy, and happy as they can possibly be in this difficult time. I just wanted to come on here to talk about Venus and Gemini. Venus has entered Gemini on April 3rd, and it'll be there until August 6th. And then Venus will go retrograde from May to July. Altogether from April 9th to July, if we include the shadow phases. The planet Venus rules money, love, beauty, aesthetics, food, all relationships, business, partnerships, marriage, contracts, fashion, design, creativity, the arts, music, singing, trade, the four senses, sex, love, and values. Gemini rules communication, social media, sales, marketing, business, ideas, learning, neighbors, siblings, including cousins, aunts, uncles, and your community. So when Venus moves through this area, communication in relation to work, income, love, and relationships usually comes up pretty strongly. Um, this transit will bring up weak links as it relates to all communication within these areas of your life. Gemini also rules devices that we use to communicate, which is also up for review. So, how are we using our devices? What's our relationship to devices? Are we being safe? Do you have your blue lights? Because we're probably using it more now than ever that we're all stuck in the house, right? So being mindful of balance, right? Venus ruling Libra is about balance, balancing out all of these Venus and Gemini topics that'll be coming up. Not overdoing it. Venus could be overindulgence. So just be careful that you're not overdoing anything. This could be being too chatty at work. So just being mindful. Work is still work. Maybe you're discussing income, a change of income, whether that's higher or lower, or not at all, right? Unfortunately. Love. How do you love yourself? How are you loving others? How are you committing to your relationships? Do you have good, positive relationships? Yeah. Just, this transit will bring up all the weak links as it relates to communication. So I'm just trying to think of like how many different ways this could be playing out, right? And how important it is to stop and actually really think about that, right? And take it into consideration. And now's the time to really, really deal with it, right? Topics of communication, financial connections, interactions with any of your relatives could be coming up right now. Like maybe you got some relatives that owe you money or you owe your relatives money. It could be conversations about the time that you spend with family or any issues that you've had with your siblings. Those things are going to resurface now. And it's up for review. We're not committing to anything now. We're just having the conversation. Is it worth your time? Do you want to have this person in your life right now? Are they a part of your soul tribe? Are they supporting you? Are you doing that for them? That Libra energy is about give and take. Are you getting what you give? Do you have a give and take in all of your relationships in some way, form, fashion? This is really going to be a burning question of that, that is going to come up, and you'll have to deal with it. Yeah, right. So we're not committing to anything long term. If it's something for a very short term, then it could have some positive flow. Um, but anything without much work, meaning anything that isn't going to take a lot for you to do, a lot for you to invest in, a lot for you to commit to, are best at this time. And anything from the past is best to work on in-depthly, and committing to that is favored at this time. I'm going to do a blog on Venus retrogrades do's and don'ts, so be on the lookout for that. But Gemini also rules our modes of transportation, so it rules cars, planes, bikes, boats, short deliveries, short distance deliveries, wheelchairs, transportation, your buses, your Ubers, your trains, short travel is also up for review right now. And this is going to be huge in a way where Mercury just came out of retrograde on the 30th in Pisces. And so Mercury has been learning all these things in this Piscean kind of way that we are anxious to use right now. And now that it's not in retrograde, we kind of want to implement everything that we learned from that Mercury retrograde. Now Mercury is in Aries, and we're probably, ready to go full speed ahead. We got the ambition, we got the faith, we got the motivation. We're probably feeling really good about some of the things that come up and changed and that we learned, and want to implement them in some kind of way. But we're being forced now to go back and do kind of the same thing we did when when Mercury was in retrograde in Pisces. So it's kind of a hurry up and wait type of energy that could be real, real frustrating. Yeah, so we're going to be going back and dealing with that when Venus was in Aries conjunct Uranus, we're going to go back and deal with all that was coming up at that time. And then, Mercury in retrograde, we got to deal with that. All the issues that were kind of coming up for that. Now, if you've gotten through this and you dealt with those issues, you might not experience the comeback, right? A good way to look at retrogrades is to understand that if something's coming back in a frustrating kind of way, it means that cycle isn't complete, and you didn't learn whatever it was you was meant to learn. So now you have to soak it up and try and learn whatever that lesson is for you. Yeah. So retrogrades bring planetary opportunities to strengthen weak links and set up stronger points of attraction for more enriching experiences. Often those opportunities come through some form of crisis, as they are often neglected for such a long period of time, and in a big way, because Spirit needs to bring awareness so that in a way that it sticks. Like, so, this time around you'll be learning the lesson for whatever it is for good. Like it shouldn't come back up. I mean, everybody, this is going to happen differently for everybody. It depends on your age. It depends on, there's so many different factors that play a role in this. So, just don't be so hard on yourself. Try not to overthink. Geminis can overthink things sometimes. It can bring depression and sadness, like a melancholy type of feeling, almost like that Cancer energy. But like your mind is telling you negative things, so manifest in a higher consciousness, bring in positive thoughts, positive energy, affirmations, to keep your spirits up. On top of that, we have the nodes of fate changing in June during this Mercury retrograde. So the nodes of fate right now are in Cancer and Capricorn, and have been for the last year and a half or so. So we're wrapping up the lessons that we learned from there, and we're probably going to be really anxious to put all that to work. But then it's going to change from Cancer, Capricorn to Gemini, Sagittarius, and I'll do a video on that, specifically talking about what that's going to look like for you in a general sense. But for the most part, there's just going to be so many different moving parts during this time. It's going to get really intense. And speaking of intensity, you have your eclipse season coming up June, July, which I'll do another video. I'll do a video on that, talking about how that's going to play a role in your life. But there's going to be like a lot of different moving parts that we want to move forward with, that we're not really going to be able to do with this Venus retrograde energy. At the very least, we'll be taking what we've learned from the nodes of fate, from that Pisces mercurial energy, and using that to work through this Venus and Gemini energy. And it might not necessarily be so in relation to actually what you learned, but you'll use those skills to be able to get through this difficult time. Yeah. So this is going to be pretty intense. I'm interested to see how this is going to play out. Also, at the end of April, we have Jupiter and Pluto going retrograde. So on a side note, this could kind of be like the end of the Corona stay at home. Will probably be released because it's going back. That could be seen as a reversal of everything that has transpired since, from starting from the reversal date up until anything back. But we'll see. This will be very interesting. I hope this information was helpful. Peace.